What's up guys? For today's video, I'm going to go over a strategy that single-handedly changed my consistency and my ability to make money trading options, and that is the ORB strategy, or the Opening Range Breakout. First thing first, the ORB works because it is a momentum-based strategy. How I use it, I use the high of the first 15-minute candle as our call trigger, and then the low of that first 15-minute as the put trigger. In this case, Q's here, I got my high, I can just click, 238, 283.10, low 281.92. So that 283.10 becomes my call trigger, 281.92 becomes my put trigger. I always trade off of the 5-minute, and that's a reason why I use the 15-minute, is because it's a great interval in between the 30 and the 5. The 5 and the 10, they become a little bit too choppy and you don't get those consistent levels, but the majority of our trading volume comes in that first 15 minutes of the trading day, or the last 15-30 minutes, power hour type area. So we're looking to use that to our advantage. The ways that I use ORB, I use it every single day playing Qs and SPY. I love it on QQQ just because it respects it so well. The bigger the names in terms of how much they move on a daily basis usually do better with ORBs. So your Metas, your Teslas, all those big names usually do pretty well with ORBs, as well as gaps. This is my go-to strategy for gaps. We'll look at BABA and XPEV today, as they did gap up on Chinese news, stuff like that. But that's how I really use ORB. So in terms of what the hell I'm doing here, what I'm looking for, right? So these first 15 minutes I sit them out. I let them establish my put trigger. We have this here at 281.92, and establish my call trigger here at 283.10. I'm looking to grab puts on a close below and then retest of our put trigger, or puts on denial of this call trigger up here. Today we see a very great example of why I love using ORB. We have multiple retests of this ORB high or call trigger, and we have these long upper wick candles showing a great time for a puts entry. Put my stop loss with the close back above that 283.10, and we let the rest of it do its work. My first target here, if I'm entering on our ORB top here earlier in the day, that ORB low, and then this zone right down here, that becomes support, or that intraday support from earlier. A reason why I wait on the retest is because I've been faked out way too many times. An example of that is we do get this close below here, right? But we want to use what we know about candle types to give us a better understanding of where we should probably enter, or what the case may be. In this case, long lower wick candle. I don't want to enter puts here. We do get the close below, and then we get the second close below. So in this case, would it be a decent entry spot for our ORB? Yes. But that's where that stop loss comes in. Enter a stop at the close back above our ORB low. In this case, we stopped out right away. Okay, say we don't get this, or we enter in here on calls, get faked out. Okay, whatever. That's a big reason why I like to wait out these first 15 minutes, and then I always wait on a retest. So I want to use that fourth candle. If it does something, I'm not worried about that fourth candle. I want that retest candle. In this case, we get these retests up here. This is just simply beautiful. 1, 2, 3 retests, but we can never close above. Where a candle closes is super important in anything that goes to trading, but especially here with the ORB method. Now let's look at SPY again, another great one. So you can see here I did use it today, and I want to use candle types, as well as kind of understanding how the overall trend is going. The last 3 days have been red for SPY, so that's one thing definitely have in mind here. But for SPY, where am I looking for entry? So right here, this candle at, 8:55 Central, so 9:55 Eastern. Great potential entry for calls, looking for that top range as our first target. We get it, nice. Then we start to see this. So we have this nice entry spot here. I'm looking for those calls around support, which would be that put trigger, or on the inverse side, a confirmation that we have turned that previous support into resistance. In this case, long upper wick indicating sellers. We already know that we're in a decent sell-off area, and then we see these long upper wicks again. Okay, cool. We want to see how it reacts to that upper level, that call trigger. In this case, perfect retest showing sellers pushing it down. Next candle, fall right through. My first target for this would have been right in here, this area that has became support earlier in the day, and as we can see, it becomes resistance later in the day. That's why orb is so useful to me. Is a lot of times, especially on SPY and Qs, it is so well respected throughout the day, and I can use it multiple times. But I like to use it more in that first hour to 2 hours of trading, and use it as a good start to the day. But where orb really separates itself is on the gaps. So in this case, we have two tickers that really gap today, BABA and XPEV. And in this case, BABA, if we use those first 5 minutes, which would be the 15-minute there, high and low, we see, we never really have a good trade today. Yeah, we have a double bottom here, and we could have taken that trade, not moving much. Okay, cool. I have this. I know what I'm going to take. This is where patience come in. Not going to take this play. XPEV, on the other hand, got the same thing here, taking calls or puts. In this case, I want to see a retest. Here is our retest. Not the greatest candle ever, but if I want to enter here, I'd probably enter on this candle. As we see, we did have that pretty strong gap up, this little flag pattern, and then we are seeing our buyers step in here. We get a nice move. So any of these candles in here, I would have been pretty confident in taking this play because we have established this as support now. That is why I wait on these retests. Cool, so we see it go up. We can also wait later in the day and see it establish itself as a resistance again here. I like to use that first move for the bigger move potential. Like that a lot. Now BA, another great opportunity here of reasons why I like to use that support level or the put trigger to take calls and then calls to take puts. So in this case, first 15 minutes, right? So 1, 2, 3. These are our first 15. Ends up being a 5-minute orb really because we are inside this zone. But these two candles right here, great opportunity to enter into calls for BA. Our stop loss set with the 5-minute close underneath 172.83. And there's not all that much to worry about. First target, going to be that orb high right here at 174.9. Moving my stop loss up along the way. Might get faked out here. Okay, cool. At least I have a stop loss, made some profits. And as you can see, we go way back up and we're able to make some pretty good money. That's why I like hitting them around this support and then these puts around our resistance. As we can also see here, 174.9 became a very key level at the end of the day. Not exact level, of course, in here, which is not always going to be, but we can see how important those orb levels do become throughout the day. The key with orb, as with really any strategy, is 1, practice, and 2, patience. That's why I love waiting on the retest because it helps me with not getting faked out as much. Yeah, I'll miss some quick movers here and there, but for the most part, I don't get faked out as much. And I also want to use the type of candle to help me with my decision making and understanding the psychology of both buyers and sellers. That's how the market moves. So we're going to use that to try and gain our edge.